Hey, this is Miko, and this is going to be a different video. This is outside because there's a step in a sales process that I haven't talked about that's pretty important. And we're going to talk about trade and appraisal. So, first of all, you have to think about this from the perspective of your customer. Their car, they had it for years, right? And they're attached to it. There's emotional attachment, and the car might have a lot of issues, mechanical, cosmetical, history of the car, but to them, they're not going to see it in the same way we see this in the business, because to them, it's their car, right? Yeah, maybe there might be a scratch, but they think, well, it's not my fault. Somebody else scratched it. So emotionally, they feel like it's not their fault. Why should they pay for it, right? So right now, what's important in this process is the actual appraisal of the car, physical appraisal. We're not talking about how to steal the trade, how to get it for less than what it's worth. At this point, we just want to make the deal. And to make the deal easier for the customer and for you is just to do the trade appraisal so the customer agrees to it. That's basically what we're going to concentrate on right now. We're also not going to talk about how to do this remotely. These days, customers can go to KBB, an instant cash offer, and NADA trade-in, all kinds of tools to get an estimate. But this is all estimate, right? In the end, the dealership has to buy the car, right? It's not just the trade-in, the dealership is buying the car. So this is another point that you have to be able to translate to the customer, but in terms that's not going to offend them, not going to make them upset or make them feel like you're ripping them off. So the best way to do that, ideal scenario, is that you have the Carfax report and some kind of estimate before you do the appraisal, before you do the walk around. So you have that, you have something to talk about. So let's assume we do have that. And another thing that's crucial is, yeah, we want it to be quick, but it's important to do walk around, trade and walk around with the customer. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So ideally, in your sales process, before you go on a test drive, you do the walk around with the customer as the salesperson. Then you give the car the keys and the appraisal form to your used car manager to finalize the actual cash value, ACV. And then you go on a test drive. So while you're test driving, the offer is being finalized, right? So let's talk about how we're going to do this walk around. For these purposes, I have a car right here. This happens to be 2013 Lexus IS 350, low miles, good looking car. And I'm going to alternate between talking to the customers if you are the customer and between explaining what I'm doing and why I'm talking about this. All right, let's go outside. All right, so if I saw the Carfax and I have something on the Carfax that I can talk about, some kind of damage report or an accident, I'm just gonna ask you as a customer. So, you know, Carfax shows an accident. Can you tell me something about it? I'm not being negative. I'm just bringing this up, and I'm gonna listen to the story. I'm gonna commiserate and, you know, relate to the customer that, you know, great that nobody got injured, and, you know, whoever fixed the car, they did a good job. Then I'm gonna do, like, I'm a salesperson, right? Or you, the salesperson. We really don't appraise cars without mechanics, but I'm gonna make this kind of like a ritual. It's a little bit like a performance, but it's important. So here's what I'm doing. Looking at your car, you're the customer. It's a really nice car, beautiful. I hope you liked it. You know, maybe ask you some questions. How was your experience? Then I'm going to the car. I'm gonna start it. And at this point, I'm checking the odometer. I want to make sure that the miles, I'm writing the actual miles. Also, I'm making sure that there are no warning lights, no check engine, anything like that. If there is something, I'm going to ask you as a customer about it. Can you tell me what's going on, tires and so on. I'm leaving the car running. I'm going to pop the hood. good to know how to open the hood. You don't want to get embarrassed by not knowing how to pop it, but most new cars it's fairly easy. So when I'm looking under the hood, I'm not asking anything to the customer, but together, like if you're the customer and you're looking at this, most customers never open the hood, right? So when you open it, it doesn't look good. It looks dusty. So all I'm doing here is kind of like pointing out, really subtly pointing out the dust. And this car, I really don't, okay. Engine oil, just a dipstick. This is not the dipstick. If there's a car, so this car is newer, there's no dipstick. If there's an oil dipstick, I'm gonna pull it out and take a look at it. But for now, I'm just looking at oh, here we go. So to you as a customer, I'm not saying anything, but I just look kind of concerned. And like I said, this is the show, this is the ritual, right? A lot of it is just, I'm getting you as a customer to understand that this is an old car, right? It looks great, but this is 2013. We're in 24. This car is 11 years old. This is a pretty old car. Okay, done with that. Look under the car. Just making sure there are no oil leaks. And here's the actual thing, right? The actual ritual. So what I'm doing is, there's a little bit of curb rash. I'm not saying anything. I'm just touching it. I'm looking at the tires. That they're okay, but they're not brand new, so I'm just touching it. I'm doing this on all four wheels. And finally, if while I'm doing the walk around, I see any scratches or any visible body damage, I'm not saying anything. All I'm doing is this. All right, nice car. And that's it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting the customer to remember all those things. If you as a customer is gonna start talking to me and telling me the story about it, I'm gonna listen to it. If no, I'm not gonna ask anything unless there's something serious like, oh, what happened here, you know. But usually all I want is to bring the customer's attention to the actual condition of the car. Because again, to the customer, this car feels brand new, right? It looks nice, they clean it, it smells, you know, they like the interior smell, but now somebody has to buy it. So I'm trying to get the customer to think about this car as if it was a customer that they thinking of buying. And now, you know, you look at a car like this that's full of spider webs and a couple of scratches and the tires are all cracked up. So the customer will think, you know, I would not buy this car or something like this. All this does is it will bring the customer's expectations about the value they're gonna get in line with the actual value. And that's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not gonna talk the car down. I'm saying this is a nice car, but now the customer's already thinking something else. And then when the time comes when they like the car that they're going to buy, and I tell them that, you know, Kelly will book for your car is $10,000, by based on the condition we can give you $7,000. They might argue, but it's not gonna be the argument as difficult as it would have been if I did this without the customer seeing the car. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.